My God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. My God is awesome. Heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weak. Forever He reigns.
Somebody lift your hands as we celebrate the greatness of our God. He's great and he's greatly to be praised. It's the worship song that says this: our God is awesome.
My God is awesome. He can move a mountain. Keep me in the valley. Hide before the rain.
Come on, our God is awesome.
My God is awesome.
He heals me when I'm broken.
Heals me when I'm broken.
Strength
Where I've been weak. Ever He will reign. My God is awesome. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Oh, awesome. Awesome. My God is awesome. Savior of the whole world. Giver of salvation. By His stripes I am healed. My God is awesome. Today I am forgiven. His grace is why I'm living. Praise His holy name. My God is awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Our God is awesome. The world is full of our kind figures. The people praise Him. They stock us up at a high percentage. The giants in our eyes. The sky's the limit. The picture painted is larger than life, but God is bigger. Your God is greater. I weigh them on the scale like Crocs and Gators. Found that only God can save us. And God is gracious. That's who we flock to. In the day of trouble, and when we blow it like hot food. The song's official. Nobody's greater for Shawn Mitchell. You got it right with that song. It echoes the heart of scripture. Yeah, they wonder why we so serious. It's cause Jesus Christ is also man, period.
Okay, my Jesus, the Son, Christ, the King of Kings, and He's God on earth. My Messiah, born and raised to give us all a second birth. And from heaven He came down to free all that were bound. Oh God, the 4 and 20 fell down, casting down their crowns, saying, Thou art worthy, Lord, to receive
Connecting
glory.
the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM,
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine.
Oh, well, y'all caught me primping, didn't you? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. When you see us on, you know that it's Wednesday, you know that it's 3. This is Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to Ask Elaine. It's a beautiful day outside. And I've just enjoyed going in and out in it. And I like the fact that I feel good. And it's thanks to all of you continuing your prayers and offering suggestions as to energy type things. And I do appreciate it so very much. My doctors tell me that my red blood count is still low. My white blood count is still low. So I still have to be very, very careful until this old body kicks back in and decides that it wants to stay around a little bit longer. But we want to welcome you to Ask Elaine. You know, this year is just about over. So the things that we talked about doing earlier at the beginning of the year, you know, you always make these New Year's resolutions, and you know, by February, you probably like me, you've forgotten them, or you got tired of them, or whatever. But we need to decide what's important to us. And it's very, very important that we make those decisions now because we're fast losing people of goodwill and there's so much evil going on. We've got to do our part. That's all I got to say. But I am so appreciative. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our special guest for today because she has so much to share with us. When you see her, you will know her because she's just all over the place, and she's a department head, and we're just so very happy to have with us as our very special guest. And you know, and I always say your name wrong. Aisha.
You
I
got it.
got it. Aisha Warner Ellen is our special guest. And for many of you know who she is, but for those who don't, she is the director of Keep Macon Beer Beautiful and is doing an excellent job. This weekend, you probably saw her and her team out with that old workaholic Dennis Bryant,
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Bryant. She's a real worker, and they were out there and they designated a number of areas to clean up. And so that is just so wonderful. If you haven't noticed, start noticing around Macon that things are looking better. And if you stop your kids from throwing trash, potato chip bags and bottles and all that stuff out of the car window, if you'd stop throwing stuff out and set a better example. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about them, the folks that do that kind of stuff. But if we set that example, then you know things will change. Um, Ricky Crawford, we want to welcome him. Good afternoon, and our coroner Leon Jones is on the line. Caller, welcome to Ask Elaine.
Hey, this is Leon Jones. How you doing?
Doing just great. We've got Asia Warner Ellen on today.
That's a lot of names. She must be one of those
Keep
independent
making
women.
beer beautiful. Hey, you just start talking and talking and talking.
Yeah,
She
well, you know,
is
anytime
a
they got that big old name, that long name like my wife, they one of those independent women, I guess. No.
Yeah.
well, you know.
Well, anyway, and Barbara Clark say at any rate, I'm gonna have about Leon Jones annual turkey giveaway this Saturday at 12 noon in front of Bentley and Sons Funeral Home. Why I'm
Okay,
delayed? Begins
Montpelier.
at 12 o'clock. Bentley and Sons on Montpelier.
Okay,
Robert and Jay Daniels, the owner of Central Georgia Crematoria and Daniels Removal, will be giving out turkeys beginning at 10 o'clock this Friday at 500 Hillcrest Industrial Boulevard. That's 500 Hillcrest Industrial Boulevard. They are giving away 100 turkeys. That's Robert and Jay Daniels, the
okay.
owners of Central Georgia Crematorium and Daniels Removal. So their
That's
giveaway is Friday at 10. Mine is Saturday at 12 in front of Bentley's, the Montpelier Avenue location.
okay. Okay. Are you asking for volunteers or you already have them
No, no,
lined
no,
up?
no, 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 no. I've been doing this for a year. I mean, you know, I always keep my stuff together.
I know you do. I know
Yeah,
you
I
do.
mean, I've always got it together. No, I
Uh,
don't need no volunteers. I just need you to come in one way and go out the other way.
all right. That's our
All right,
coroner. You
thank you for
have
your
anything
time.
else you need to share?
No, ma'am. Also, I'm giving out smoke detectors while they last. Haven't had many people to call, but anyway, you know, guys, I need a smoke detector. Call me. I will install it free.
Okay. And thank you
And
so much.
I got three campaigns. I got three campaigns going at the same time. Stay
Yes.
out of jail, stop the killing, and comply with the police. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Coroner. We want to welcome Pastor Lisa Watson. Also, Wade Horton is on with us. That's Mr. Macon Transit Authority. Ava Jean Sullivan Henderson is with, and of course, Ricky Crawford, who's all chat. As I said, our very special guest is the executive director of Keep Macon Be Beautiful. And if you've been around town, been out and about recently, you've seen some big improvements. So, first of all, I want her to introduce herself to those who don't know her, and then tell a little bit about her background. And of course, most of our folks who are in a position are overly qualified. So she can't say that, but I can go ahead and say that we usually are. So, but I just want you to hear some of the things, some of your background, because we use this as a career opportunity too, to impress upon people this is something you might be interested in doing. So we're going to do that. I'm going to let her introduce and tell a little bit about herself, and then we're going to get to Keep Making Bib Beautiful. Welcome to Ask Elaine.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Lucas. Thank you, thank you. Well, just a little bit about myself briefly. As stated, I'm Aisha Warner Ellen. I'm the Executive Director of Keep Making Bib Beautiful. I have been in this role for almost 4 years, not quite. April of 2026 will be 4 years. It feels like sometimes it's been 40, but but it hasn't been quite 4 years. And so my background, a little bit about myself, I am from Macon, not born but raised, so I claim Macon as my home. I was born in Paterson, New Jersey, but my grandparents were originally from Macon. Just like many Black folks in the 50s, they moved up north. But then in 1980, we moved to Macon, and they came back to Macon. I moved to Macon, and so I started here in the 3rd grade. Started off at Maltsy Pie Elementary School, which is now Ingram Pie. Went on up the hill from there to what was Ballard B Middle School. It's now Ballard Hudson Middle School, the original Ballard Hudson High School, though. And then on to Southwest High School, where I graduated from in 1990 with honors.
All right, that's important.
And then from there, I went on and I got my bachelor's in business administration from Georgia Southern University, and then my master's in public administration from Georgia College and State University. In my career, I have worked in every sector. I started off in the private corporate sector. I worked for years as a representative with Coca-Cola. Actually, most people don't know, but I was the first Black female outside sales representative for Coca-Cola here in the Macon area, and was with Coca-Cola for a little over a decade. Worked for some other consumer product goods companies before I then switched over to the nonprofit sector, and then I worked a little bit in government for the People's DA, District Attorney Anita Reynolds Howard, and then came over where I am now. So that's sort of like a quick recap of just a little bit about my professional background. But I've always loved Macon. To be honest with you, though, when I graduated from college, I didn't think I would come back to Macon. It was just going to be a pit stop. But that pit stop turned into a permanent spot.
Oh, yeah. Macon has a lot of potential.
It does.
And I think when people give it a chance, they see that potential. And people like you, it's just a blessing that we're able to hold on to some of those folks who go away and then come back, because Macon has so much to offer. We just all got to stay in the game and
Exactly.
work to making it as good as it can be.
Exactly.
Go
And,
ahead.
and of course, and just following you even years before I even met you, but just following you and your role and your leadership
Mm.
and the platform that you set for young women and particularly young Black women such as myself, to be able to see what strong female leadership is in a community. And I know it comes with a burden.
It does. Hey, what they say, it do, it do, it do, it do. But
Um,
that's okay.
yeah, but and so I want to be for little girls what you and so
Uh-huh.
many other leaders were for me.
And you certainly are.
Well, thank you, thank
Yeah,
you. So
yeah.
I've had the blueprint, didn't have to recreate it, just had to follow and be attentive.
Well, there are a lot of our folks. That's why it's so important that we make sure that our history continues to be told.
Yes.
And just as soon, and I know you in your you can't say this, but I can
But you
say
can.
it. Once we get our government straight, and it looks to me like there's some little cracks in the armor. It looks like there may be a few little changes taking place. So once there's some major change that takes place, we will then be able to go back and say, let's pull out our list of things that were done that were detrimental to all people. Let's pull out that list of folks who were unfairly captured, taken into custody. Let's take out a list of all those folks who lost their jobs, the 300,000 Black women who lost their jobs under the government downsizing or wrecking or whatever it was. So I am just really hopeful, and I know you all are as well, that next year about this time we will have a decision as to what our Congress looks like. We can't get Trump out. He's going to leave after his term is over, but we can certainly change the makeup of that Congress, and they can then enact laws which can put a stop to some of the things that he's doing. And that is our only hope. So we've got to make sure we vote the right way. And so if you're not registered, you can't help. And we need your help. So please, now let me get back to my guest. I did my little sermon. Tell us about Keep Making Beer Beautiful.
Okay.
What is it all about?
Well, Keep Making Beer Beautiful. Most people may not know, because I'll be honest, I was one of those people once upon a time. But the organization itself was founded here in Macon in 1974. So the organization itself has been in this community for 51 years. It was founded by, most people know the name Carolyn Creighton from the Cherry Blossom Festival. But before she founded the Cherry Blossom Festival, she was the founding executive director of Keep Making Beer Beautiful.
That's right.
And Keep Making Beer Beautiful came about under the umbrella of Keep America Beautiful. And at this time in the 70s, Keep America Beautiful, which had been around since the 50s, was more so from a marketing national campaign. If you remember some of the back in the day, give a hoot, don't pollute, those type of marketing things. And and it's not politically correct now, but the Crying Indian campaign from back in the 70s, well, that all was under the Keep America Beautiful. But they didn't have local affiliates, local in the community. And so Macon was a pilot back 50 plus years ago. And Mrs. Creighton was the one who started up that initiative here in Macon, and it was 3 pilot locations: Macon, I think Tampa, Florida, maybe, and somewhere in North Carolina. Macon, though, is the only one that survived. And just so that makes it that not only just the history in Macon, but it's the first Keep America Beautiful local affiliate in the country. And then from there, you had the state affiliate, and then now it's different affiliates throughout the country, throughout the state. So, but the organization itself came about as a beautification effort to focus on littering, but also to, the planting of flowers and trees and things to beautify the community. And so it started off with a lot of like garden clubs and things such as that. And it just continued to expand from there. But we focus on improving the quality of life of all citizens within Macon-Bibb County. We were founded under the ordinance of what was then the city of Macon, and then the Bibb County government. Now, of course, we're consolidated government. So we're under the ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County government. So the whole focus was to focus on litter reduction and education, but also beautification initiatives. That's when a lot of the cherry blossom trees, that was a part of that beautification initiative that then birthed actually the Cherry Blossom Festival. So Keep Making It Beautiful started the Cherry Blossom Festival just as a one-day event, paying honor to Mr. Ficklin for his contribution of all the cherry blossom trees. And it's grown to what it is now. So, that's a lot of history that's unknown. But also too, though, things have changed over the 50-something years. And so going more to the present time, even though the focus is still on beautification initiatives, we're really trying to really partner and go into communities that have the greatest need. That doesn't mean that one community is better than the other or worse than the other, but really being intentional and strategic on focusing and building those neighborhood partnerships with neighborhood organizations like the Fort Hill East Macon Neighborhood Watch Association, the Unionville, West Side Neighbors, and so many others. And we have just been able to really just galvanize the community. They run the cleanups. They just call me for the supplies now, but the community really runs the cleanups. But it's developed into so much more than that.
It really
We're doing so many things that
I
people
heard
don't know.
you sitting there talking like it was just, it really. Now, one advantage of being around a long time is you see things over time, and so I know you can't. Folks can't.
Because you were around, maybe not from the beginning of this organization, but pretty much though. Like pretty much almost probably around the time when you start coming into office, this organization was being developed.
Actually, it was like 10 years after that.
Oh, wow.
But I had been back from school and was teaching in the school system. So I was aware of the things that were going on with Keep Making It Beautiful. And I can really tell you it really has grown. It really has grown. And I can't recall there ever being as many grants received.
It has taken, and to be honest, I tell people I am not a grant writer. It's just been, I was blessed to have a good education from the Bibb County public school system to know how to write. But in my previous roles, I never had to write grants. So I didn't start writing grants until 3-4 years ago from being in this position. We do get funding through our Macon-Bibb County government. But that pretty much helps as far as the day-to-day operation cost of the business. But to really try to do a lot of the educational initiatives we're doing, a lot of the extra beautification initiatives that we're doing, the park beautifications, you need funds. We're a nonprofit, nonpartisan, of course, organization. However, I can't talk about it as far as politics, but I will say, though, that politics plays a role in how we get funds. So it does. Some funds may trickle down from the federal level to the state level to the local level. A lot of things as far as we may get a grant or funds from the Arbor Day Foundation, but the Arbor Day Foundation received their funds from the federal government. So, all of this still plays a role.
Elections have consequences.
Yes.
Elections have far-reaching consequences. And the folks who you put in office determine the policies that are of more importance than others. If there's an administration that favors clean communities, clean water, clean growth, trees, air, all of that, solar energy, wind energy, as opposed to coal, which is about gone, and other traditional, more there's a non-renewable, because there's no more coal. There's not going to be any more of some of these kinds of fuels that we've been using. So our who we put in office determines the policies that you get, not just on the national level, the state level and local level.
Yes.
Because as you said, there are opportunities to support or
Exactly.
not support.
Mhm.
Um, I was amazed, and when I was diagnosed with leukemia, the next week or so, I saw the announcement that Washington was pulling a lot of the cancer research grants, and I said, "Oh no!"
Yeah. Yeah.
And so who you put in office makes the difference. It
Exactly.
makes the difference whether they value folks being able to eat and have a place to stay and have a decent standard of living, or whether they value a big ballroom. It makes a difference. Okay, now tell us about the projects
Oh.
that are kind of bubbling up now.
Oh
And
wow.
because on Facebook I just see posts of a lot of different things. Y'all went on a riding tour.
We did.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we call them a litter index tour. It's only required from Keep America Beautiful that we do one a year. But working with our board, Judy Gordon, who most know with the Bibb County Sheriff's Department, she's the neighborhood watch coordinator, but she also serves on the Keep Making Bibb Beautiful board, and she's our litter committee chair. And so she and I made a commitment that we were based on community feedback, that we would focus on all sides of Macon, and at least try to do on a quarterly basis what we call a litter index tour, where we get volunteers. The sheriff's department is so kind to always let us have one of the 15 passenger vans. And one time we had so many volunteers, we needed 2 vans. But we have our clipboards, and I print out like the score sheets, and then we literally go through neighborhoods and we score as far as the appearance, as far as whether it's littered or not, or just different things. We note a lot of code enforcement, maybe violations, maybe in a community, because we do have a representative from code enforcement that also rides with us as well. And so, and then we compile all that information, and then we meet back and try to strategize a plan, whether it's, are we going to host a community cleanup in this neighborhood? Or if, we send whatever, any infractions we find, like code enforcement, and that representative works on that part of it. If we used to have representatives from the Macon Water Authority that used to ride with us.
You used to have a lot of stuff from Macon Water.
But and that was so helpful, because people may say, well, what does the Macon Water Authority have to do with Keep Making Bibb Beautiful? Well, we would also include in that litter index score if there was any issues as far as stormwater drainage, if it was clogged, if it was littered, if it was damage, any type of damage to the infrastructure. And we had a person right there with us from that department who was able to, expedite things. And so we had a good run with that. With having a representative, and so hopefully you can maybe help us get that back.
Pastor Lisa Watson is on with us. Patrick Davis has a question. How much contact or correspondence do you have with elected officials, such as Sanford Bishop, or elected local legislators in regard to pushing for legislation related to Keep Making Bibb Beautiful?
Okay, great question. Patrick Davis is going to always come to you with those questions.
Always.
But recently, and when I say recently, it was earlier this year in February, I attended the Keep America Beautiful conference. And one of the things, so this is people such as myself throughout the country, where we convened this particular year in DC. And one of the things that we did was we had a day on the Hill. And so I, along with some of the other affiliates from Georgia, we were able to meet with our congressmen and our senators. So at the state level, so I was able to meet with Sanford Bishop. And it wasn't just, it was bipartisan. So we met on with both sides to be able to talk collectively, because Keep America Beautiful, there are about 800-900 affiliates throughout the country. And so we were able to come together collectively, and everyone was able to meet with the legislature in their state.
That's
But also on the state level, Keep Georgia Beautiful, we always have a day at the Capitol as well, always in February, which a big part of one of the grants that we got received through the Georgia Beverage Association actually came about through that state, that Keep America Beautiful, Keep Georgia Beautiful, I'm sorry, day at the state capitol.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course locally, we work with several local officials. Most people probably know definitely Commissioner Stewart and I, but
yeah, we know commissioners.
but with Commissioner Lucas, when you were the commissioner in that East Macon district, we've done some things together as far as within the communities with the different neighborhood watch groups. And just recently, this past weekend, Commissioner Donis Bryant, I partnered with her, and I got to first thank though former Commissioner Virgil Watkins, because Commissioner Watkins actually, before he left office, you know how each commissioner had 30,000 to allocate to. Well, he allocated his full 30,000 to Keep Making Beautiful, the public safety funds, with the sole purpose of us focusing on cleanup initiatives in neighborhoods around schools in the Southwest Zone, which just so happened to fall within that district.
Great.
And so when Commissioner Bryant came about, she jumped in, feet first, and we coordinated and we did this Southwest Zone cleanup, which consisted of 5 schools within the Southwest Zone, community driven. And I mean, it was just it was so inspirational because you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity. Most people know Celine's Fish. If you're from Macon, you know Celine's Fish. I should not have to explain who that is if you're from Macon. Right. And so Mr. Celine inboxed me because he wanted to be involved in the cleanup around the Ballard Hudson Middle School area. Of course, that's in the neighborhood from the restaurant. But he also shared with me that is also the neighborhood where his brother was murdered.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make a difference and do something to improve that neighborhood. And so you don't never expect those kind of interactions from doing something like picking up litter.
Yeah.
But for him, it was important. It was special for him to do. And so we're excited about also continuing that partnership and that relationship with him. His wife just so happens to also be a counselor at Ballard Hudson Middle School. And so, it's those things that being out in the trenches, boots on the ground, and really meeting people and learning, and understanding and learning that, gosh, like this is really bigger than just picking up that piece of trash. Like we're picking up trying to pick up entire communities.
And the children see those things happening and they realize that it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
That's something that I should be doing. Because look, parents and the pastor and all of these other folks are out there doing it. They're good people. I should be doing that too. We want to welcome, first of all, we want to thank all of you for tuning in to Ask Elaine today. Those who've tuned in on AM, FM, and those who are right here on the Glory Live, we welcome you to Ask Elaine. We have people in the chat, and we love to recognize him. Kimberly Houston, good afternoon to you. Pastor Lisa, Patrick Davis, Dr. Mary Butler, Jeanette Goff is with us. We said Dr. Butler, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
George Thomas Jr. is with us too. Randy Crawford, of course, Ava Jean Sullivan Henderson, Rhonda Bird is here. I saw Rhonda at an event, a scouting event last week. She was looking glamorous as usual. By the way, we want to congratulate Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin, who was one of the honored, the recipients of an award at last week's scouting recognition event for all the work that he does in the community. So we want to do a special salute to him and all of those who received recognition. By the way, you've received a number of recognitions that I know of. So tell us about those.
Okay. It's
That I
hard to
would
talk
know.
about
And
yourself,
then,
but
well, hey, we pull it out of you on Ask Elaine. You have to tell us the whole
okay.
thing.
Well, I had within my second year as the executive director of Keep Making Be Beautiful, I had the surprise and the honor of being recognized by the state as the Keep Georgia Beautiful Foundation's executive director of the year. So that's
Mm-hmm.
an annual award that they do every year where they recognize leaders within the organization throughout the state. And so to be within my second year
That's
and to
real
get yeah,
recognition. Yeah.
it was an honor, and it was also an honor that I don't take lightly, because for me I was like, okay, now the spotlight, I really got to grind now.
Well, you wouldn't have been recognized
Say
if
if
you
I
hadn't
was
already
hadn't
been.
already been.
I'm telling you.
And so
I'm
and then
telling
of
you.
course as an organization, like we just about every year, at least every year, I can only speak of my time period, but we've received like the President Circle Award that comes
Mm-hmm.
from the CEO of Keep America Beautiful. We also received the Governor's Award. So, and when we go up for Keep Georgia Beautiful Day at the state capitol, that's when they present us with our awards. And one year this was also within my second year, I had the honor of also speaking, there on inside
Oh
on the
yeah.
steps inside
Oh yeah.
the capitol. So that
Yeah.
was exciting to be able to also have an opportunity to talk with and meet, our state representatives and
Yeah.
state senators. Um, Senator Lucas,
Yeah.
of
He
course,
loves
was
making
there.
people being there. Loves
Yeah,
getting pictures done with them.
yeah,
And yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. That is
those
great.
are just a couple of the awards as far as from the state, but also from a national level of
Mm-hmm.
receiving. But the awards that I also appreciate, and I don't want to say appreciate the most, but I do, is even just being recognized for things here locally. James Wimberley Institute
Yeah. Yeah.
last year, as far as being presented with that award for being the first African American executive director for Keep Making Be Beautiful.
Yeah.
And even not since in my role as Keep Making Be Beautiful, it really was more so in my role with the DA's office, but because of the transition, by the time they were presented the award, but I was awarded Bibb County School District CTAE Community Award.
Really.
Yes, because
That's
I've
wonderful.
done a lot as far as working, sometimes just behind the scenes doing
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
within the school system, because education, and especially in the role that I'm in now, I just feel like everything still goes back to education. I don't care if we're talking about litter reduction or beautification or stormwater drainage, everything still goes back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
education. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really enjoy doing things, going into the schools, working with the students. That's really where I get a lot of joy from.
Hmm. You brought in a wonderful book, All the Way to the Ocean. I know those who are on the uh, Facebook Live can probably see that. But this is a wonderful book. Tell us how Keep Making Bed Beautiful is connected to this book and some
Yes.
of the other things that you have.
Yes. Well, I first learned of that book from a lady by the name of Peg Jones. She has an organization called Save Our Rivers. And
Mhm.
so when I had my first meeting with her a couple of years ago, she came to my office. She wanted to introduce herself. She, in previous years, had done volunteer work and things with Keep Making Bed Beautiful and had partnered with Keep Making Bed Beautiful. So she bought me a copy of the book. And so the book is just perfect. It fits as far as not just from about litter and why we shouldn't litter,
Yeah.
but it talks about when litter gets into our stormwater drainage and how that piece of litter can go all the way to the ocean,
Yeah.
and how it impacts us as far as our environment and our water. And so I was just so thrilled about the book and
Yeah.
thought it was
It's
just it
beautifully
is. And
illustrated.
so I was able to reach out to the author, because I thought I could just go online and maybe just order some books.
Mhm.
But long story short, I reached out to the author. He's a Black man by the name of Joel Harper. He is from California, but he lives now in France.
Mhm.
But so I connected with him, and through connecting with him, he self-published. And it's a story by why he self-published, but just because of some of the challenges that he had as far as when he wrote this book 20 something years ago. But long story short, was able to work with him and his distributor, and we initially ordered 100 books. And was able to give that out to every third grade classroom in the Bibb County public school system. And then, so that was about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Well, with a grant that we recently received that's focused on the 31206 zip code, I wanted every third grade student at the elementary schools in that zip code, which is Bruce and Southfield Elementaries, to have a copy of that book. And so we went back, I got actually Commissioner Stewart helped me as far as with facilitating that, because we had to reach the author again, still in France and all of that. Long story short, we got the books, and we were able to last Thursday and Friday give out the books to every third grader at Bruce Elementary School and every third grader at Southfield. And then we also gave them like a little bag. We got a recycling coloring book and just some other little, things to introduce them, through education, through reading. And so I'm hoping, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm hoping you can come back maybe to Bruce at least, since that's in your district, and we can read. I can set up and you can you read to the students.
Glad to.
And I think it's important that they know. If you see on the cover, those who were able to see the little boy sitting there, and he's putting like a candy wrapper paper or whatever in the stormwater drainage system. And I don't think many people, and sometimes adults, and so we can't expect kids to understand it if adults don't, that's not a trash can.
Right.
When you put your trash in and it goes in that stormwater drainage system, for us here in Macon, it's gonna go in the, go into the Okmulgee River, which will flow into the Altamaha River, which will then eventually flow into the Atlantic Ocean. So your piece of trash that you put into the stormwater drainage system here in Macon, you could be on the beach one day and it floats up, and so that's the concept, the storyline of the book. And the students all, learn at the end, and their school hosts like a cleanup around the school. So it's just a real cute children's book.
Very nice.
And but something that lesson, we might need to read it to some adults as
oh
well,
yeah. Because we were doing a cleanup years ago over in Fort Hill, and there was a big old dump over there, and some of the ministers and other folks' neighbors were out there, and I was out helping to clean up. And I thought we never get all of that. I think they just took dump trucks full of stuff away. But then there was a man sitting on his porch, and he was just sitting there. It was his right across from his house. He sat there and he just watched us.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying,
I know.
I just
like, come out and help us.
This is your chicken box. This is your milk carton.
Well, hopefully
he just sat there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he appreciated the fact that people were coming in and invested, probably most who didn't even live in that community, but were coming in and invest their time. And so hopefully, he thought twice before littering after seeing that.
Let's hope.
Yes.
You're very optimistic. But it's that kind of stuff. People can't sit on the sidelines with anything that's important to you. And there's some things that have got to become important to us again. Clean neighborhoods. If we mess up our own neighborhoods and have it just junked up and trashed up and everything, nobody else is going to respect it.
Exactly. Either. And then it's gonna also breed other folks come in, and because they're gonna feel like, oh, they don't care. So if they don't care, let me just go dump my trash over there. And so we got to get back to that self-pride. Like I remember years ago, remember when folks used to sweep outside, and they may have lived on a dirt road, and they would sweep the dirt.
Yeah.
we need to get back to that sweeping the dirt mentality.
Sweep the yard, sweep your dirt.
I mean, folks lived on dirt roads, but they took pride in where they live. And we got to get back to that. We got to get back to taking pride in ourselves and pride in our communities. Because that's where you live. Who wants to live and see trash and litter and debris? And I asked some students one time at an elementary school when I went to speak, and I asked them, and these were like, 7-8-year-olds. Well, how did it make them feel, when they saw trash and litter, in their neighborhoods and as they're walking, or whether they're even on there on the bus or
Mhm.
carpool, but how did it make them feel? And, they were very candid and very transparent. These were little ones. And they said, some of them said it made them feel sad. Some said it made them feel angry.
Yeah.
And we don't know the impact of when our communities aren't clean. Oh, because it sends a message that we don't care, and people don't care about us.
That's right.
And so, when you're 7, 8 years old, you may not be able to articulate that or understand that. But these were emotions that these students shared with me, that when they would have to walk by or drive by, or, they might be living across the street
Yeah.
from a dump site, that the emotions were from anger to sadness. That's a heavy burden.
Yeah. It is. Are there other events that people can take part in that are coming up real soon?
Yeah. Well, I tell people it's twofold. We do host and have events, like we just had the big, Southwest Zone cleanup, but we also have individual communities who, whether it's neighborhood watch, whether it's church groups, youth groups, or whatever the case, that, that host events, and we provide them with the supplies. I do know, as far as the first Saturday in December, there's going to be a group in the Unionville community, and they're going to be doing a cleanup in Unionville. So we should have some details. I'm working on the flyer and to start getting that information out. But we have neighborhood groups and different groups every day.
Yeah.
This Saturday, I know, like the Shirley Hills Neighborhood Watch Association, they're doing a cleanup. We have certain neighborhoods like the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Association, Fort Hill. They may do, 2 or 3 or more cleanups a year. And then even from the cleanups that we did with the schools, like I've already had one of the elementary schools that their beta club is going to just clean up like around just the sidewalk in front of the school, and also on the school yards. Because when I was with some students, I won't say which school, but I was like, okay, this past Saturday, I'm like, okay, we got a lot of litter just right here on the school property.
Yeah.
And so, and I told them, I said, when those who came out and volunteered, when you go back to school on Monday, and if you see your peers littering, tap them on the shoulder and let them know, look, no, I was just out here cleaning up. Now we're not going to mess it up. Yeah. And so I say all that to say is we host events, but also individuals and organizations and church groups can also, and it's just a matter of contacting us, 478-330-7054, or you can message me on Facebook, whichever is convenient, and just say, hey, we're hosting a cleanup. It might just be 5 people on your street. It doesn't matter. But if you need supplies, we'll be able to supply like the trash bags, litter grabbers, safety vests, gloves, things such as that. Yeah. So you don't have to wait for us to host a big, massive cleanup. It would be better if we could continue to have these smaller group cleanups just throughout the year.
Yeah. So I remember over in Fort Hill, and I guess I should have stopped because I used to walk a lot and pick up trash, and it was amazing what was out there. I swear, I said, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. We always find,
where in the world did this come from?
Once at a cleanup, we found a stolen car. So we
my.
Come across sometimes. It was a gas pump that was, I don't know how it became detached from the gas station, but we found that. I mean, you find all kind of interesting things.
You do find some interesting stuff, all kinds of little plastic bags.
Oh,
and stuff that should be in bags.
Exactly.
Just all kinds of stuff. But it really makes you feel good to clean up an area. There are 2 guys who live in the Walnut Creek area who come out, and 2 days, usually 2 days a week, they come all the way through Walnut Creek Road, and they pick up the trash and they blow the leaves and all of that. I would like to, they've been doing it for, I know it's been 10 years.
Well, you need
and
to
so I need to nominate them.
because we do the annual Keep Making Bid Beautiful awards, and
but
so
they have been doing it, and I stop and blow. I blow at them in the mornings, and I remember when I used to do it. I think they picked it up after I stopped doing it, because we had to do our take our turns with my mom.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that's when I
Well, that's good. That means you
stopped
set the
doing
example.
them. But they started doing it, and they have continued it.
Well, yeah,
They
please get me their
continue.
information.
I will
And
do
also,
that.
even before then, even because they shouldn't have to spend their own money and use their supplies from their household, their trash bags. So I can also get them some supplies also
That
too.
sounds good,
Yeah.
because they're out there. They've got the bags. They've
Yeah.
got the little picker uppers.
Yeah. Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and they even blow. They have their blowers,
Okay.
and they
Yeah.
blow the
Yeah.
stuff off, and they keep it looking nice. But then my husband and I made mention of this the last time we came out. They had, it might have been 30 minutes, and we came along that stretch of the road, and somebody had come along and just
Yeah.
they threw their food
Yeah.
containers out.
And that's the part has been the struggle, because for 50 something years, Keep Making It Beautiful in various capacities have been hosting or individuals or groups like you just named have been doing cleanups. And then, it may take an hour to clean it up, but it takes somebody less than a few seconds to mess it up.
That's
and so
right.
that's where, that's the part where the challenge is changing mindsets.
Mhm.
But, that's why we try to stay focused. Janice Habersham, if anybody knows Janice Habersham, she's on our board and she chairs our education committee.
Mhm.
And one of the things you mentioned, Dr. Ficklin earlier, but for 5 years, Dr. Ficklin, through the Office of Community Affairs with Macon-Bibb County, and Mrs. Habersham, it's her baby, so I let her run with it. I just tell her to show up and tell me where to stand. But we do the Why Clean Streets Matter art and essay contest. And we just had that ceremony 2 weeks ago.
Really?
At the
I
Douglas
missed that 'cause
Theater.
I was there last year.
You was.
But I missed it this year.
So, but we'll make sure that you have a role
Oh,
in
girl,
it.
can't keep up with as much as she used to. They tell me, slow it down. If there's one or two things you don't have to do.
But you've been there before and was involved when you was on the commission. And so we partner, and the students through there, the elementary school students, they do the art part of the contest, and then the high school, in middle and high school, the essay. And basically through their art and their essays, they're conveying the message of what they can do to help keep Making It Beautiful. And they get some good prize. They get monetary prizes.
I remember. And
so,
all that's good. That sets the example.
Yes.
If we don't set that example early, it's kind of hard to get these old knuckleheads.
But I'm gonna tell them, their children tell on them, because when I go into the schools, they'll tell me in a minute, especially the elementary.
Granddaddy threw
exactly. They will tell. So parents, grandparents,
they tell a lot.
The elementary school, they will tell. They have told on some of y'all, so y'all better get it together.
That's right. That's something. Every little bit that's not thrown out is one less piece. And when one person sees stuff thrown out, then other little bugs, they still call them little bugs.
We still call them litter bugs. Yep, still litter bugs.
Then others tend to do that.
Yeah.
That's why I hesitate to suggest to people that they get a 4-way stop sign, because whenever
stop signs,
people
trash collector,
stop,
they throw stuff out the window. They do.
And over the years, some people have found out they thought they wanted a 4-way stop
until they got it,
until they got it, and then they had trash pickup every day. So. But there's still no excuse for people throwing trash.
Because if wherever you're going, there's going to be a trash can somewhere. Just hold on to it until you get to the trash can.
That's right. Pastor Lisa says that it's a struggle. She says that people toss trash in their churchyard.
And
how
that's disrespectful is that?
Near our church driveways.
Yeah.
So it is a lack of respect. We've got to regain the control and instill more respect for each other and our surroundings. And that's where we've got to have our parents more involved. And So that's why I'm a big proponent of parent education,
Yeah.
parent university,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully the school system will start looking at doing that
Yeah.
during the summer
Yeah.
and provide a stipend for those parents who finish it up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in the long run, it will benefit.
It will
the
definitely pay off. You will
It
definitely
most
get your
certainly
return
will.
back on the investment. Yeah.
Yeah, Pastor Lisa says they have to clean up all the time
Well, tell Pastor
around the
Lisa,
church.
call
that
me and
people let-
I'll at least give you some trash bags. Now, I don't want you to use the church money toward that. So contact me and I'll at least get y'all some supplies. But and we also are trying to think of other creative ways. That's why it's important. Like, I like to make sure that I'm up to date, going to the different conferences, seeing what other parts of the country, places are doing.
Yeah.
But we do have to, it is a mindset, and it's hard change behaviors, but it's not impossible. Sometimes we just gotta go back to the old school. And we also gotta go back to, and most people may not like this, but if you get caught throwing out trash, that's a crime. People don't realize
it really is, and
Like,
you can be ticketed.
You exactly
and fined for that.
Yeah.
Now, they have in that list of things.
Mhm.
It might not be the most important thing, but if somebody is having a slow day and they want they want to ticket you, they really can. And another thing people need to remember, there are a lot of cameras that have been placed in Macon, GA.
Mhm.
And so not only are there school zone cameras, and by the way, y'all slow down. Just slow down. Even if the things aren't flashing, slow down. I just creep through.
I do too.
Because I know that time, if I don't practice it, I'm gonna one day, not y'all please. Just, there are school zone cameras, there are flock cameras that read your license plate. There are several other kinds of cameras that are out. And the police are monitoring this entire community. So, they see when you go up and dump out that old sofa or that refrigerator.
Oh, and tires. Let's not mention the tires.
And tires, yeah. So they, you might get away with it one time, but and there are some people who make it a habit of throwing trash out in certain areas, and you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
You're gonna get caught.
Yeah. And the fine is like $500 to start with. Now, is that to me, that throwing that Chick-fil-A bag out,
that wouldn't be worth it.
It wouldn't worth me,
Chick-fil-A, $500. Crystal, $350.
So yeah, and then also the environmental health impacts, because it creates rodents, it creates insects and pests, it contaminates our soil. So it really is harmful. Also, it really is.
I saw a documentary on PBS the other night. Yes, I watch PBS. You should too. But it was talking about African nations that are making use of tires, and that the problem had been that the tires were just laid out there. Millions of tires, they would capture the water, and the mosquitoes would grow in there. And of course, mosquitoes carry diseases. Not just in Africa, here too. So we can solve a lot of problems by cleaning up around where we live and making sure that we don't pollute. And littering is pollution. It's trash pollution. Littering is messing up your environment. So let's just make it a habit of cleaning up. And the worst thing that I see is someone pulled into a parking space, maybe at a grocery store, and then when they leave, they back out, and their whole bag of trash
they leave it
is on the ground. Now,
and like, why would you?
And I've heard people say, "Oh, there's somebody that's got a job to pick it up." That is not the right attitude.
No, that definitely is not the right attitude. Imagine if somebody just went to your yard and just dumped There's some, you wouldn't
Yeah, you
appreciate
be out
that.
there jumping and carrying on and man.
Exactly. So we gotta just, we gotta just really think about, we want to have the environmental impact. What we do today impacts what happens in our future.
Right.
And we want to make sure. We were talking about tires. I actually had a meeting earlier, meeting with someone trying to look at some grants to be able to try to deal with some of these issues of tires being dumped as well throughout our community. So we're working hard trying to find additional funds and things. But, I would like, instead of worrying about finding thousands of dollars to pick up tires, I'd rather find thousands of dollars to be able to get books for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to work, and maybe the Macon Water Authority can come up with some money. I'm not going to be ugly with them today. Or they can come up with some money to purchase some more of these books for some more kids. Patrick says, could creative financial incentives be done through local legislation, which would provide tax credits for property owners or provide a stipend to children?
That might be something we may have to take before our commissioners. But we need the community, like, write those letters or make those phone calls and send those emails, making those suggestions. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Clean Streets Matter, says Pastor Lisa, and Dr. Butler agrees. Trash causes low morale in a neighborhood. It does. And those people who fuss about why they don't come clean up our neighborhoods, a lot of times your neighborhood has been cleaned up or the street has been swept.
It has.
But a lot of times people who live in your neighborhood have come along and thrown the stuff back out there.
Yeah.
So it's not always that your neighborhood is being neglected. It's that your neighborhood, there's some folks who are not as respectful.
Yeah.
And so nobody should be able to tell anything about you because of the way your neighborhood looks.
Yeah, because it's not a reflection of the majority.
LJ Malone just coming in.
Towards
Sorry,
the end.
so it was that baby. They had that baby.
Oh, yeah, they had to sleep when the baby
wearing you out. We know we've had children. Sorry, so late, but great afternoon, Ms. Lucas and Miss Aisha. Yeah, we're glad. And by the way, LJ and Tia's program, The Village, airs this afternoon, 5:30 each Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30. And they have some very, very interesting and exciting information that they share. And I just want to say to you, you young folks, if you think the only program that you need to listen to is LJ's program, you're wrong. You need to listen to Ask Elaine as well. And then the folks who are more mature, that's a cute way of who are with Ask Elaine, you need to be listening to the other programs as well. These programs are provided for your enrichment, for you to get smarter, for you to find out some things that you didn't know. Now, I bet you today you learned some things from Miss Ellen that you did not know. I know you did, because I did. So anyway, we want to thank you for being here. You just are a wealth of information. Congratulations. I am proud as a Black woman that you're in that position and doing such a jam up job. But then most Black women do that. Most Black
I had the blueprint already to follow.
Oh, look, you know what to say. But look, it was just so nice of all of you to join us today. We always run out of time, but I'm not going to run out of time. I got 1 minute left. Want to encourage you to get involved. If you're not registered to vote, you need to go quick, fast, in a hurry. You can register to vote online. You can check your voter status. If you're not sure, check it. And so this is all we have for you today, but we're going to hope that you'll be there with us again next Wednesday, 3 p.m. for another edition of Ask Elaine. Thank you.